So, you're the great Zalgo I keep hearing about, huh?
Yes, I am Zalgo, the Nightmare King, the old one.
You know, Jane and I have taken down some pretty ugly monsters in our day, but man, you look like something a drunk chick finds in her toilet the next morning.
What if Jeff Keaton and Zalgo won in the blood of Jeff the Killer? This is What If. The Blood of Jeff the Killer is one of my favourite audio dramas in Mr. Betty Kruger's Jeff Keaton saga. It has great action, good storytelling. The writing is a little bit off from time to time, but it's a fun ride and it is enjoyable to listen to. But one small problem I had with Blood of Jeff the Killer was that Zalgo lost in the end, and his defeat was so anticlimactic as well. Like, I was just sitting there thinking, come on, this is Zalgo we're talking about. The unstoppable demon who is said to destroy the Earth. He's not just another baddie for Jeff the Killer, for Jane and Toby to fight. But what if events had gone differently? What if Zalgo and Jeff had actually won in the climax of The Blood of Jeff the Killer? This is What If. We start our story off in the Spokane Cathedral. Jane Keaton, Toby Rogers, and Dr. England were fighting against Zalgo the Kandarian Demon, Jeff Keaton, and the Little Smiles that supported Jeff's path. Toby was confronting Zalgo, who told Toby that he was too quick, too powerful. Toby was taunting the Kandarian Demon by telling him that he and Jane had fought some pretty ugly monsters, but that he looked like something that a drunk woman finds in her toilet the next morning. Angered, Zalgo threatened that he'd tear Toby's flesh from his bones. But the young man kept on taunting the demon. Zalgo then recounted Toby's history up until that point, mocking that even though he couldn't feel physical pain, he had so much pain inside. He then asked Toby if he was ready to die, and Toby retorted by asking the same question back and screaming, "Now!" And Jane jumped out from behind. But before she could touch the Kandarian demon, Zalgo quickly spun round and grabbed her neck, making her drop the machete and try to choke out a sentence. Zalgo turned around, still holding Jane, and smirked at Toby's horrified expression. "Let her go!" he screamed, but Zalgo only chuckled. "Foolish child, I told you, I'm too quick, too powerful." And with that, the Kandarian demon snapped Jane's neck and dropped her corpse to the ground. Toby screamed, "No!" and ran to Jane's side and scooped her up in his arms. "Wake up, Jane. Stay with me. Stay with me," he pleaded, tears welling in his eyes. Zack ran over to his new friend and tried getting his attention. "Toby, we need to get out of here," he protested, but Toby just kept sobbing. Dr. England fought Jeff at the end of the church. "Stop this, Jeffrey," he demanded. "You're putting multiple lives in danger." The doctor tried punching the mad Keaton, but Jeff dodged and suddenly stabbed the doctor in the throat. Jeff giggled and said in a tone of malice, "Go to sleep, doctor." Dr. England choked out blood and collapsed after Jeff retracted the knife. "No!" Toby screamed when he saw what happened. Jeff chuckled and mocked the young man by singing, "It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is dying." Toby angrily charged towards Jeff and was about to tackle him, but Zalgo shot a fireball in between the two, making Toby stumble and fall. The Kandarian demon shot fireballs at Toby and Zack, who grabbed the bodies of Dr. England and Jane and ran out of the church. They ran, and Toby looked back and he saw that the church had been set ablaze. Jeff watched after Toby and Zack, and Zalgo hovered down to his level as the little smile surrounded them. Jeff faced the demon and spoke. Well, that was overdramatic. Oh well, so now that you're free, what should we do now, Master? Zalgo chuckled and observed the killer. Now, we spread fear and chaos in the town, and then we fill the world with darkness and despair. Then Zalgo hovered back up and threw fireballs at all the sides of the church, setting the whole thing ablaze. And he crashed through the wall and flew off into the night. Jeff and the little smiles watched on, and Jeff chuckled and muttered to himself, I came and saw, I won. Jeff and his supporters walked away from the church as it burnt down. Meanwhile, Zalgo was destroying everything, setting fire to buildings and causing roads to break apart as the citizens of Spokane scattered, screaming in panic. Toby and Zack watched from the sidelines. Shit. What do we do now? Zack asked, still holding the body of Dr. England. Toby was in shock. He didn't say anything. He was in shock that he'd failed to save the town, and that he'd lost Jane and the doctor. He turned to his new friend and quietly said, We leave town now. Then they turned to leave, as the camera would fade out, and all we could hear was the sound of Jeff and Zalgo's evil laughter, and chaos and calamity ensued. Now with this ending, it leaves the sequel open, which would surround Toby coming to terms with his losses. Toby vs. Jeff, World's Deadliest, would open up with Mew Sweet Dreams song as we got a recap of the ending of Blood of Jeff the Killer. 5 years had passed since those events, and now Toby and Zack lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside of Spokane. Toby had gotten depressed since the death of Jane and Dr. England, and would spiral down a rabbit hole of alcoholism. Zack found a new job in a different hospital, trying his best to save the lives he and Toby had failed to recover. Toby watched the news while drinking a whole bottle of vodka. He had spiraled into a deep depression and had become more vengeful, more bitter, and had constantly blamed himself for Jane's death. Every night, he would see her and his biological sister Lyra in his dreams, tormenting him for his failures. He would try to make up for it by going out and putting an end to the scum of Spokane, but more monsters kept coming up from the ground. Toby got up and wandered out of the house. He plucked some flowers and walked over to 2 graves. He placed some of the flowers onto Jane's grave, and then the one next to it, Dr. England. Hey guys, it's me. I guess I just wanted to let you know how I'm doing. I missed you. Toby got a lump in his throat, trying to hold back from breaking down. I've been so lost without you. There was so much more I could have done to save you, but I couldn't. I failed, and I'm sorry. Toby turned away from the grave and started to walk back to the house when he noticed Zack, who had been standing behind him. "Hey man, is everything okay?" Zack asked with concern. He and Toby had grown close with one another. They were almost like brothers, but nothing in Toby's life could compare to what he and Jane had. The pain of losing her never went away, and Zack had tried his best to cheer up his new friend. Toby looked at Zack and then hugged him, finally breaking down. Zack hugged his new friend back and stroked his back tentatively. He did feel sorry for Toby. He knew what it was like to lose someone. Zack got Toby back inside and popped the kettle on. Toby just sat in their shared living room until Zack came in with a tea tray, which had 2 cups and a teapot sat upon it. We can get a scene where Toby and Zack are talking about Jane and Dr. England. "I just can't believe they're gone," Toby told Zack, trying not to cry. Then he thought about the person who'd ruined his life. "I'm gonna kill him. Jeff. I wanna kill him. He haunts my nightmares," he confessed. Zack sighed. "I don't blame you," he consoled, patted Toby's arm, and then he turned on the TV in hopes of distracting them both. Meanwhile, in an old house in the Spokane mortuary, Jeff Keaton watched a news report which reported sightings of the killer. Since Zalgo had destroyed Earth, he had decided to rest, and now Jeff rested in the mortuary house and still killed from time to time. Jeff got up from his seat and turned off the TV before he walked down a hallway where he reached an old room. He turned on the light, and there was a woman who was tied to a chair and gagged. She had a white dress on and had strawberry blonde hair. She had cuts and bruises all over her body. Jeff slowly approached the woman and removed the gag from her mouth, which had 2 slits at the side, making a bloody smile, just like Jeff's. The woman gasped for air and looked up at her captor. Jeff giggled and peered down until his face was inching from her. "So, little Jen, you're awake." Jennifer stared at the killer in terror. Jeff had captured her months after murdering her brother. "What are you gonna do to me?" she asked in fear. Jeff tilted his head and brushed his knife against her hair. "Honestly, I'm getting kind of bored of you. But I'm going to keep you alive for a bit longer," he whispered. Jennifer's face drained of color. She struggled against the rope and grunted as she did so. Jeff chuckled and stood up straight. "What are you going to do to me?" the poor woman asked. Jeff only chuckled and pulled out his knife. "I'm going to cut you slowly," he told her. Jennifer cried and struggled against the rope. She pleaded for him not to, but Jeff untied the rope from her wrists and legs, grabbed her, and threw her to the ground. Jeff was about to plunge the knife into Jennifer's back when she kicked him and ran off. Jeff stumbled back and steadied himself and ran after his victim angrily. "Come back here!" he screamed, but Jennifer kept running. Jeff reached out his hand to grab her, but missed. He tried again, and this time grabbed onto her hair and pulled the girl close. "You really shouldn't have done that," he growled. Then he plunged the knife into Jennifer's stomach and slammed her head against the wall until she was a bloody mess. He dropped the body and stomped on her face with his boot. Jeff wandered out of the mortuary house and surveyed its surroundings. Spokane had become a ghost town. He had stopped killing every day so that his spree lasted. He decided to go on another killing spree that night. Meanwhile, Toby was drinking and watching the news. Zack came in and saw Toby slumped on the couch. He sighed with frustration and sat next to his friend before finally saying, "You need to stop this." Toby turned his head and replied groggily, "Stop what? Grieving?" Zack groaned and stood up. "You need to stop moping around," he exclaimed with annoyance. "You barely get up anymore, and we rarely do anything together. I get it, Jane's dead, but that doesn't mean you have to feel sorry for yourself." Toby stood up angrily and was face to face with Zack. "You don't get it, do you?" he shouted. "My best friend is dead because of something I could have stopped. When I lost my sister, I blamed myself for it. And when I met Jane, all of that pain went away. And now, it's like I've lost my sister all over again." Zack could see that Toby was in pain, so he calmed down and said quietly, "It's okay to hurt, Toby. But Jane wouldn't want you to just mope around." There was a moment of silence. Then Toby sighed with frustration and walked past Zack before putting on a dark brown coat with a fur collar. "Where are you going?" Zack demanded. "I'm going out," Toby declared. He opened the front door and stomped out of the house. Zack just watched after him sadly and sighed before sitting on the couch and putting his face on his hands. He groaned and rested his head back, not knowing what to do about Toby. Toby stomped down the dirt path and into the ghost town that was left of Spokane. He had his gun resting in his pocket. Toby had completely ditched the hatchets and only used them on occasion. Toby wandered through the quiet town. He then had a cry for help and turned to see a woman that was being mugged. "Hey, stop!" Toby shouted before running over to the mugger, who had a gun pointed at the woman. Toby grabbed the back of the mugger's head, then pulled out his own gun from his pocket. He then cocked it and aimed the gun at the man's back before pulling the trigger. The mugger then fell to the ground and blood poured out from his back. Toby turned to the woman and helped her on her feet. "Are you okay?" he asked. He could see how now that the woman had long brown hair and green eyes. "Yeah, I'm fine," she told her savior, relieved that he'd saved her. "Do you want me to walk you home? It's not safe in this town anymore," Toby offered. The woman nodded, and the pair started walking. "What's your name?" the woman asked. Toby introduced himself, and then the woman told him her own name. "My name's Natalie Outlet. But everyone calls me Clockwork because I'm very good with time. Thank you for saving me, by the way." We would get a bonding moment where Natalie would tell Toby about how she'd grown up in an abusive household, and Toby would give him his condolences before telling her about his own troubles. Meanwhile, Zack was sat on the sofa, watching the TV, when suddenly he heard a loud bumping sound which made him jump. He got up from the sofa and called out Toby's name, but didn't get a response. "Toby, is that you, bud?" Zack called again. He could see a hooded figure in the shadows. He slowly approached the figure and said hesitantly, "Toby, this isn't funny. You're scaring me." Zack slowly got up close to whoever it was, but before he could see anything, the figure's hand grabbed Zack's throat and stabbed him in the stomach. Zack was thrown back, and the figure stepped into the light, and to his horror, Zack saw that it was none other than Keaton. Zack quickly backed away, but Jeff pounced and stabbed the poor man in the stomach. Zack choked out blood. Then Jeff slit Zack's throat and started to cut up his face, laughing all the while. Meanwhile, Toby stomped back up the dirt path and approached his house. Suddenly, he got a horrible feeling of dread. He crept towards the house, then slowly opened the door. "Zack?" he called. Then he gasped in horror when he saw Zack laying on the ground in a puddle of his own blood. His throat had been slit open, and the sides of his cheeks were cut open in an unnatural smile. Toby shook. He froze when he finally comprehended what had happened. Toby fell on his knees, and tears trickled down his cheeks. He broke down sobbing, then screamed at the sky after he'd seen the word "go to sleep" written in blood on the wall. Toby grabbed his hatchet from an old box and marched out of the house, now thirsty for revenge. Keaton had ruined his life, and now he was going to pay. He marched into the ghost town and started to shout Jeff's name. "Jeff! Come out and fight like a man!" he screamed. "You want me? I'm right here." He heard that all too familiar voice from behind. Toby turned to see the man who destroyed his life. "You're gonna die, asshole! You killed my friend!" Toby shouted. Jeff only giggled and pulled out his knife before shouting, "Bring it on!" Toby screamed and charged forward, swinging the hatchet around. Jeff dodged the blade and stabbed Toby in the abdomen. Toby couldn't feel anything though and punched Jeff, sending him flying back. "Your precious master isn't here to protect you now, is he?" Toby jeered. Jeff giggled and responded with, "Old Zalgo is retired, rocking back and forth in his rocking chair in hell." Jeff got up and lunged forward before tackling Toby, making him drop his hatchet. Jeff started to choke Toby, who was reaching for his hatchet. He just managed to grab the handle and swung the blade into Jeff's abdomen, making the killer cry out and release his grip on Toby's throat. Jeff chuckled and Toby stood on his feet. Then he started to taunt the young man. "It wasn't my fault that little JJ was caught in the crossfire. She shouldn't have underestimated the power of Zalgo." This angered Toby, and he screamed in anger and lunged forward. He sliced down the hatchet towards Jeff's face, but Jeff grabbed the handle before the blade touched his forehead. Then Jeff kicked Toby back before stabbing the knife into his chest. But Toby only smiled and pushed Jeff back. The killer laughed and jeered at Toby. "A knife in your chest, and you don't even flinch? What are you, superhuman?" Toby pulled the gun from his pocket and thumbed back the hammer before aiming it at Jeff. Then he shouted, "Go to sleep!" before shooting the killer in the stomach. Jeff stumbled back and coughed out blood before collapsing. He laughed one last time before jeering, "You should have gone for the head." Toby only looked down at the man who ruined his life and said, "Jeff, just shut up," before shooting Jeff in the head. This made Jeff go limp. All the colour in his one eye was gone. He was dead. Toby sighed with relief and dropped the gun. He then walked into the sunset after dropping his hatchet for the final time. He continued to walk, bleeding out from the cuts. Then he suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily before he blacked out. He lay there until a figure approached him and lifted him up before carrying him off. Toby was dazed. He slowly opened his eyes to see a face looming over him. He turned his head to see a fireplace. Toby's vision was blurry at first, but he blinked, and it was much clearer. A woman was treating his wounds. The same woman that he saved. Natalie? Where am I? Toby questioned, groggily. Natalie smiled warmly and said in a soft voice, I saved you and brought you back to my place. I saw how you took down Jeff the killer. You're really brave. Toby chuckled softly and laid his head back. I guess I was. I don't think I can go back to my house though. Not after Jeff killed my friend. He closed his eyes and felt a lump in his throat at the thought that he'd lost his only friend. And after an argument they'd had of all things, Natalie sensed this and rested her hand on Toby's shoulder. Well, you can stay here as long as you need, she told him. Toby thought about it, but eventually responded with a quiet, that would be lovely. Thank you. Toby and Natalie would bond even more, and Toby grew to even like his new friend. But he hesitated to grow close to her in fear that she'd either betray him like Jeff had back at Ferguson's asylum, or he'd lose her like he did with everyone else close to him, who had died at the hands of Jeff's wrath. But eventually they grew to become very close friends, and Toby started to live with Natalie, and even got himself a job at a charity event, where he'd help people without resorting to violence. All was well. And there we go, that was What If Jeff and Zalgo Won in the Blood of Jeff the Killer. Honestly, I think if Jeff had died, and he and Zalgo had won anyway, I don't think the plot in Wrath of Jeffrey Keaton with Isla Jack and Marie Laveau wanted to conquer the world with Jeff Keaton would have happened. And honestly, with this story that I was going for kind of a more of a Logan approach, while also being inspired by Freddy Leprechaun's Toby vs. Jeff film. But honestly, I would kind of wonder, I kind of just wanted to go with the Logan approach, because I always wondered what a story based on Logan, but about a retired Kicky Toby would have been like. But tell me what you guys thought in the comments, and I will see you all in the next video. I'm Harry for the TV, and remember, you don't have to.